Hello, everybody. Welcome to an X-Pound Amazon Prime special. Today's special is going to be focused on the Amazon Prime pilot episode 1 of the series, Just Add Magic. For those of you who might not have caught the last episode of Amazon Prime pilot special, we were originally going to review all the pilots. However, the pilot season ended on us, and we hadn't really watched that many of them, as the ones that were discontinued were not available on the app, and it became a pain to watch some of them for some people. So we decided to limit it to just 3 of the ones that were picked up that we'll be doing over the course of the month. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and check out our last episode, which is a review of Man in the High Castle, which has also been picked up. Today is our children's show. As I said, it's called Just Add Magic. It's about 3 young ladies. They discover a cookbook belonging to the grandmother of one of the 3 young ladies, and they start baking the items in the cookbook only to find out that they have magic properties. Joining me to review this episode, we have, from the Mole, Chris the Mole.
Charmed.
From the Shadow's Mall, Marcus Shadow.
I'm sure.
And from X Sparks and all the other wonderful things that he does, the stay-at-home dad gamer, Richter Hammer.
Hello.
Available now at stayhomedatgamer.com.
Nice. So, it should be noted that this episode, Just to Add Magic, is based on a book of the same title, written by Cindy Callahan, published back in 2010 or so. It is a one-off. It's not part of a book series or anything, but apparently it was enough for the episode to be made, so cool. Anyway, we all watch the episode, so let's just go through this. What do you guys think of the episode?
My thoughts, not good.
Yeah, I liked it. He didn't. That's the short of it.
Okay, well, do we want to go with the positive first or the negative first? Who wants to go first?
Let's go with...
Let's start off with the positive. Go ahead, Marcus.
Okay.
Or Hammer, if he liked it too, he can do it too, whatever.
Oh, Richter, did you like it?
I thought it was okay.
Fair enough.
Some good parts, had some bad parts.
Okay. Which is what? Go ahead, Marcus. Enlighten us on the positives.
I was gonna say, go ahead and elaborate, Richter. We'll go with the neutral stance first.
Okay. It seemed like an interesting premise. It is though child actors, so you get what you can. One part I liked was like if for those that didn't know, like when you cook the thing, the special recipes, it has like magical properties or whatever, and I like that adding the what was it, citronella vanilla or something like that. When you would add that, like the person that added that would get like an anti-effect almost of whatever the spell food was. And I thought that was like an interesting aspect, that it's like, well, you have to balance, like you get a positive, but you have a negative for whoever makes it. So I kind of wonder if one person makes it and then eats it themselves, does it even out? Anyway, I thought that was actually a pretty neat aspect. Was a little kid showy though, that it's like, oh, if you do the right thing, then the spell is broken.
Which I have to question actually, because I have to question how it actually works and who has to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Because both times it was the main character that did the right thing, but she's not the one that added the vanilla the first time. So how does that work? She wasn't affected at all. So her doing the right thing should have done fuck all. What the hell?
Pretty much, yeah. I assume, at first I was like, oh, is it the person that did it? But yeah, it's like for some reason it has to be her.
Yeah, I was like,
it doesn't make much sense.
How does that make sense? It's the owner of the book has to do the right thing, so if like dickhead little brother puts something in there and screws something up, she has to be the one to fix it? I don't think that's fair. It's like, okay, show, tell us how this actually works.
Maybe it's any of them? Because they jointly did the spell.
Oh.
Therefore, as long as one does something right, it would affect all of them.
That's possible.
Or whatever convoluted way they have to do for the service of plot.
True. Yeah, I would say that is one negative on my play about that, of just you had two different people become affected, and one person like basically disenchanted both. I'm like, you never explained it, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with the mole phrase here. Explain yourself, show.
Yep.
But yes, go ahead, Richter. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. But I'd say for me, one of the negatives was like the little brother, especially. But so many of the people in that show were just dicks. Like, little brother was like the dumbest person ever. Like, like spilling the brownies, that was stupid. And then when he like sneezes on the cake, oh, I fucking hate it when kids don't do that, when they cover their nose. Like, oh, they get yelled at in this house. That's all I'm saying. And then he just starts like eating it with his hands. Like, how do you not take a belt to that kid? I almost punched my monitor just for like just trying to discipline him. Like, oh, so stupid. I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And then, like, the friend from the bakery comes and he's just like, what you making? Like, tart, and he just eats some of the dough. I'm like, the fuck, you come into you kick down their door because he scared them, and he just eats some of their food and is like, later, like, here's some chocolate later. Like, the hell? Like, that does not fly around here. I don't know what part of the USA they're from, but no, dude, you don't just be taking someone's food and then just take off. What the hell?
Which is ironic, because I mentioned to Marcus I wanted to reach through the screen and slap him, but for different reasons. Mine was just for the horrible acting of, and all the fucking cooking puns. I'm like, stop it now, stop it. We get it, you have to do one or two, but stop it. I don't want to hear multiple cooking puns.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting because I don't recall there being. They might have been there. Maybe I just didn't notice them because I was, like engrossed in the story or whatever. But I don't recall like all those cooking puns or anything. But fair enough.
Yeah, that was what I thought.
Fair enough. And what did the daggers think?
My son liked it. Wouldn't explain why. He's like, yeah, I kind of like it. My daughter didn't really like it. She's younger. She's like 5. She didn't like it, and then wouldn't tell me why, and eventually said that she thought it was okay, but she didn't like the end, the very end. And I'm like the credits or the lady with the crow? And she's like, just the very end. I'm like, very descriptive, thank you. So that was what I got. Like, yeah, it was okay, good, and I didn't really like that much, especially the end. And I'm like, thanks, I'll relate that information.
So the end sucks. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know specifically what part, other than the very end. So.
And does anyone else find that slightly ironic as well? Well, not with Richter. I mean, just ironic in general. It's a show about girls. It's clearly marketed towards girls, and the boy liked it and the girl didn't.
Yeah, I was confused. That's why I was like, try to explain a little bit.
Maybe he liked the fact someone broke down someone's door, stole their food, and was like, see ya. Maybe he's like, yeah, I want to do that.
They both laughed way too much when the kid spilled the brownies and then ran up into the attic and all the balls fell down the stairs, and they were like, ah, and I'm like, why is that funny? Okay.
Did one of your kids
strike me as yeah.
One of your kids enter, well, father, their balls have dropped.
That dude, I'd high five him if he said that.
And that's when Richter thanked his lucky stars that he doesn't have an attic in his house.
Well, not in the same way those people do.
It's a secret attic.
Yeah. Not that secret. It's the panel's in my son's room. For a while, he didn't know what it was. He didn't really ask, but then at one point we had to like go and check. And then for like a week, he's like, "Yeah, except for that one time you put a ladder in my room to look at the little door." I'm like, "Really? That did not inconvenience you. Just hush up."
I would make the case that your attic is as secret as most 80s cartoon villains' bases, where it's like, oh, where can the villain be? Could it be that giant skull over there? oh, where could it be? Could it be that giant evil-looking tower that's in the middle of nowhere that clearly overlooks the city? Could the villain possibly be there? Nah, fucking check the nursery. Which, yeah, I will admit, that always irks me on TV shows. Like, yeah, let's go to our secret base. It's like, that doesn't look that secret.
Oh, the abandoned warehouse district. Why don't I start my search there?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like, I'm sorry, no offense to Marcus when I say this, but I would hate to be your friend in Power Rangers, Marcus.
Oh.
Only because I've noticed, due to the use of stock footage, the monster only ever attacks when Asians are around.
Ha!
Therefore, whenever I'm with you, I'd be like, not sure if friends or monster.
Not sure if friend or monster bait.
Yes.
That's a little racist because I'm the wrong type of Asian.
To be fair, they've said it was Chinatown before now in Power Rangers, and it's still been Japanese stock
They
footage.
used to. They said.
Ah.
Actually, yeah, I believe that. I can see them. Look, they're attacking Chinatown. Well, actually, Tommy just looks at the screen. He's like, "Don't question it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't know what season it was. I just assumed the first one.
To be fair, why couldn't a load of Japanese people like Chinatown and the Chinese cuisine? I find it weird no Chinese people did, but still.
Mm-hmm. If you wanted to make it a cruel irony, it would have been perfect if they said that in Samurai.
Indeed.
Anyway, Mo, what did you think?
I did not like this show.
Fair
For
enough.
many reasons,
Thanks.
including every part of it.
Yeah. Versus,
The acting was terrible, and I mean really terrible. The logic of the show didn't make sense. Like, the little ginger girl had got cursed, so she couldn't shut up, except for a lot of scenes when the others were talking, and she was clearly quiet behind them the entire time. What? That's like, no, it's just like fucking. Is that like the power to be invisible, but only works if no one's looking at you? I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I have the power to never shut up, and then I shut up. It's like, wow, congratulations, you almost rocked it by saying you're never going away. It's like, what the hell's going on with this? And the amount of cooking puns, and it's like, we get it was due to cooking, but if you really need scenes like going into the restaurant, seeing the guy, and then tasting the food and going, oh, it contains, and then listing the ingredients, except for one, which they got wrong and quickly went in the most awkward way possible. Oh, no, wait, it's this. It's like, I don't feel we needed this. I don't think kids would be have that much of a sophisticated palate, because that takes years of training.
well, I think the point they were trying to get across there was that she has a natural affinity for cooking, and that she got part of it from her grandmother.
She does, but I would make the case of cooking takes as much discipline and stuff to learn as, say, like a martial arts. Would you want a little girl to then suddenly go, oh, I've suddenly, my grandfather did martial arts, boom, beats up every single person in the bar easily, and then goes, yep, did you get it? Martial arts in my blood? No, you want to see him learn. You want to see him train. It's like, it's like as much as we insulted Power Rangers Samurai, at least Jaden was training to be a samurai. He didn't just go, yeah, it's in my blood, and kick the shit out of everyone, and just that, and just leave it at that. No.
True.
I would like to point out in terms of the cooking part of it, it's entirely feasible and entirely realistic that someone that young would have a palate like that. And let's not forget, these girls are like, wasn't that like high school or something that they're in? Or maybe like late middle school?
I would actually make the case it's not realistic, because scientifically speaking, with the human palate of tongue, the reason kids are more attracted to sugary foods but adults are savory is because your tongue actually changes and adapts as you get older, and as a result, she would not have the same discipline to be able to do what a master chef as an adult can do when his tongue works a completely different way, and he spent years of discipline to master this.
Yes and no, because as I was going to say, because I've seen many different things on like Food Network, Cooking Channel, whatever, where they've done like shows dedicated to kids, or they'll have, a kid come in for this or that, whatever. And these kids that they bring in, it's like, holy crap, their palates are really sophisticated and they're really good like cooks and chefs and stuff. And these are like 10-year-old kids. I'm like, Jesus Christ, where do they get it from? And where they get it from is twofold. It's from all kind of genetics. It's like, because they grow up around and they, with grandmother, mother, father, whatever, whoever happens to be the cook in the family, they, spend a lot of time with them. And then they just have a passion for it. They find they like it and they have a passion for it, and they've been doing it since they were like 7 years old or whatever. So it is entirely possible. It's not common, I would say, but it's entirely possible and realistic of this kind of depiction of a palate in a younger person.
See, I'd say it's not, because I've seen stuff like the cooking shows and stuff as well. I've also seen oldie documentaries and stuff like that, well, a load of documentary stuff where they've explained why that couldn't work because of the human tongue changing and stuff. And I just find it really unrealistic that a kid was able to quickly just go and bite into food and instantly say every single ingredient within that food. That is a skill no one else could learn. That would be as offensive as me saying, like I said, that'd be as offensive as me saying, okay, there are martial artists my age, fair enough. Okay, suddenly my parents are a martial artist, boom, and kicking the shit out of someone with like wire fu and shit, and being like, no, it's just in my blood. It's like, no, that doesn't work. I need some sort of explanation, and I need some sort of better realism than that. So that's horrible. That just irked me, and I don't know. It shouldn't, but it irked me because it was literally like a bite. It was literally like bite recipe list. It's like, what?
Are you talking about the black kid?
No, I'm talking about the girl when she did it. She went, oh, and then instantly said all the ingredients.
What did she eat? I don't even recall that scene at all.
Empanada or something.
Yeah, it was something like a piñata that was, because she instantly bit it and goes, that is better than, I think it was Mama or whoever the fuck, it might not be Mama, that might be Cooking Mama.
Better than Mama.
Yeah, but she did bite into it and say it's better than someone. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to say she bit into it, better than Mama, and then listed all the ingredients instantly. That is beyond stupid.
No, it's not. I would say it would be dependent on her age. Because like I said, if she's around like younger high school age or something like that, like say like early teenagers, I could totally see that if she's like say 13 and she's been around food and cooking and whatnot and learning stuff because she's got a passion for it since she was like 6, so she could like read. I could totally see her having developed it that far. Yes, your palate changes as you grow older, your tongue changes and whatnot, but that doesn't mean at a young age you can't train your palate to be as sophisticated as say like a chef in his 20s. It's entirely possible, and it's shown that it's happened, and it's entirely realistic.
Okay, I would say maybe it's feasible. Let's just ignore science and say it's feasible to have been able to do that at the same degree as a normal master chef. Why is it when master chefs bite into something, they go, and they think for a second and then identify it? They don't just do it instantly?
Okay, the speed at which she did it, fair enough. I'm just saying I think it's feasible. She could have done it. The fact that she did it instantaneously, okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, which I'm like, that whole scene was just unrealistic to me. It was just annoyingly, stupidly unrealistic. And that was the least annoying part of the thing. It's like, the whole thing was just, like I said, it was like the most cliched powers that happen whenever they use stuff, which you've seen on Sabrina and Charmed and stuff millions of times. And it's like the show lacked originality, if that makes sense, but at the same time, just it was like, I don't know. I didn't like that. And at the end, with the old woman appearing and just going, and like winking towards the camera, I'm like, okay, fair enough. I understand this is to make me more interested in this character, but I have no shit to give about that woman. But which, yeah, like I said, I did not like the show. I don't even have any, I don't know, percentage of a jigger shit to give her.
There we go.
Which lady?
The old woman at the end that's just like, right before the credits.
The one with the crow?
Might be, yeah.
The blonde lady or the black-haired lady?
The like dark-haired old woman that just showed up, like I said, like literally right at the credits rolled.
Oh, the one that said it's starting again?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
She was there in the middle of this, in the middle of the episode. She was the lady that gave the girls the vanilla in the shop and then disappeared.
Yeah, but it was just that reveal of right at the end with her then going, it begins again. It's like, or whatever she was fuck she said. I'm like, I don't care. You're literally doing this in the worst possible way, and I've seen that actress in other stuff. It seems like the acting in this as well was terrible, even for a kids show. Because I felt this was worse than stuff on Disney Channel or Nick. But I might just be me. Back to Jim. 'Cause I don't know what Jim thinks.
Nice.
Fair enough. Thank you for that. I agree there were some unrealistic parts to it. Overall, I liked the episode, but I did agree it seemed a little unrealistic the way that the girls seem to be acting a little above their age, or what they're. I think they were something a little more like they looked like they were somewhere between 10 and 12, and I feel like they were acting more like 14.
See, I got the sense they were 14. They looked like they could have been 13, 14.
Okay, maybe it just seemed like they were acting older than they are or were intended to be, and just with the way they were talking and everything, and the fact that there's basketball team tryouts, that doesn't happen that young, typically speaking. I mean, that happens in middle school, I suppose, but
Yes, it does happen in middle school.
usually, someplace that's usually not. It seemed like they were playing it all like it was a big high school deal, like it was going to determine their whole social lives, which I don't think in middle school that happens that much.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking they might have been like freshmen in high school or something. Because it seemed more like a high school dynamic, at least to me.
It did, but they looked too young to be in high school.
Not they were freshmen. 14? That's about right.
Yeah, I could see that. To me, they looked about, I don't know, 11, 12.
That's what I said.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because one of them looked almost like, one of them did look very similar to my niece, and she's 10.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
However, I will also make the case of, I can't believe I'm actually going to defend the ages. I'm going to say it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, if we can have 30-year-old Luke Perry be a high school student, why can't we have someone just 2 years younger being older?
This is true. Fair enough. Yeah, overall, like I said, I thought the premise was very good. I was intrigued at the end part where they had, the lady that gave them the vanilla looks like she's kind of evil, and the other lady's like telling her to stay away from them. They're like, I'm intrigued now. What's going on here? So I was interested to see where that back plot was going, but overall, in terms of the girls and the cooking, that didn't really intrigue me that much. It was sort of like, okay, I get this is supposed to be kind of funny, and I get it, and one of them has to do something to make the other one, but it just seems a little contrived.
It seems like they're going to Snape the white-haired lady.
Something like that, yeah. Which is fair enough.
I will just nod and say yes.
Yeah, I was wondering. I didn't look that closely, but in the photos you had of her grandmother, were those two her grandmothers, Hannah and Darby?
I assume so.
Because I didn't actually look that closely at the grandma's photo.
Mama. I'm positive they are.
Okay.
The crow lady and Mama.
Yeah.
And I assume Mama became evil and made her eat something.
Well, that's probably what it is. Yeah,
Don't worry, Mama will fix.
Well, not certainly eat something, but it seems like she probably, whatever spell that she needed some kind of spell to gain power or something, and so she made the other girl be the one to put the thing in, and that's why she's, half there, because
I guess
the other got the advantage of whatever the spell is.
Yeah, true. It could have been that way. I figured it was the other way, but I think, you could be right.
Because given how they talked it up in the show, they kind of showed that, it's about the three friends because one has to suffer for the other one to get the advantage. So it seems like maybe she got the advantage and then just abandoned her friend to let her suffer instead of trying to break the spell.
I could see that. I thought maybe she gave her, like, comatose cake or something.
Comatose cake. Available now at 118U.
Yeah, she got the crow lady to pour it. And it made her really creepy or something. She's like, now I'm socially awkward and I yell at children.
Which would also make the case.
Yeah.
Would also make the case if they're meant to be in high school, why was it weird that one of them was a high school girl that can't shut the fuck up? Isn't that the definition of being a high school girl?
Yes. Also just children in general. Like, she's like talking. I'm like, oh, okay, she's a normal kid. Oh, that was an after effect. Okay.
But I believe Marcus had positives.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show a little bit. I've never read the book, so I don't know how much of what they used in the show came from the book. Like, it's entirely possible the recipes and the the spells or magic cakes they decided to use in this episode came directly from like chapter 1 of the book or something.
Well, I can note that based on the description I'm seeing here, they did change at least a few of them.
Mhm.
A little bit, only because it did mention that it was intended to be a what is it? Let me see what it said. Because the shut 'em up thing, it wasn't a shortcake, it was something else in the book. It wasn't a shut 'em up shortcake, it was a keep 'em quiet cobbler.
Ah,
So
fair
they did
enough.
change some of the names of the food a little bit, but the general premise stayed the same.
So, but it was like basically the same spell. Fair enough.
There was also
So
a hex. They also use a hexberry tart to put a curse on mean old Charlotte.
Fair enough. That's probably why they decided to use the shut 'em up thing, because it was in the book. We're going to stay kind of faithful to the book. Fair enough. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I grant you the acting wasn't very good, but at the same time, kid actors. I mean, there's been some good kid actors, but on the whole, when you have actors, especially that young, and especially if they're grown and whatnot, it's not going to be that good. Case in point, Harry Potter, which actually is better than most, but even they themselves, even if you see the behind the scenes on the first one of Chris Columbus talking and stuff, he'll tell you, yeah, they didn't know how to act. We had to kind of teach them, and you're dealing with kids in limited time. You kind of have to take shortcuts to get what you need.
Yep. And that was before one of them grew up to eventually turn around and say during most of the films where people praised his acting, he was actually drunk.
Pretty much.
But yeah, but honestly, in this episode, I liked the main character. I thought she did a good job. I thought her friends were okay. They were serviceable, but I thought on the whole the three of them were probably the best part of the episodes. I thought the acting was weak on the rest of the fronts, the adults included. Aside from maybe that evil lady, except at the end with that wink, I can kind of agree with Mo that was a little too much, but I thought she did a serviceable job. But I thought, go ahead, Mo.
Oh, I was going to say, no, I was just saying, I can kind of see where you're going with that, but can I just make one small request?
What's that?
Can we never refer to children as serviceable?
Man, they're acting.
Sure you did. Wink. No.
Illegal.
Yeah, you'll make them legal.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I don't know if these characters were written this way in the book or if they did it this way for the adaptation. But I felt pretty much every character aside from the three main characters, maybe the grandmother and the other two ladies, I felt all the rest of the characters in this show were a little over the top. They were almost caricatures, which kind of works for a kid's show, but at the same time, it's like, did you really need to go that far?
Yep.
Like we mentioned, the brat brother. It's just like, I had to agree with Richter on that one. I just wanted to punch the kid. I was just like, really? Are you really that stupid and that much of a dick? Really?
Yeah, it's like when I compared like Nick and Disney shows. It's like, who remembers Lizzie McGuire? Her annoying
I
brat
remember it
brother was
existed. I don't know.
Yeah.
her brat brother was actually likable. It's like the girls around the same age, roughly, as iCarly when it was started up. None of the, as much as I personally didn't enjoy iCarly, I wasn't complaining that they sucked at acting as much. They were actually really good. It's like I don't know. It's like the acting in this was just bad compared to other kids shows with the same age range. To me,
Possible. And maybe it's also because you watch more kids shows than I do, just because you have your niece and nephew. You watched stuff. You're number one, you're younger than I am. Number two, you have your niece and nephew, so you do you have a reason to watch kids shows more than I would. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I said
Um,
I said watched because it becomes now the case of with my nephew, if it's a superhero show or something, I'll watch it now. My niece will often now, mainly due to fucking Saban, will often go into like say onto Netflix and just watch her own stuff or put Stampy on for a few hours or something. I'm like, okay.
Fair enough. But yeah, so I don't have much in the way of kid shows to compare to it, if that makes sense, aside from stuff I watched as a kid, which, come on, it was the 80s, so yeah.
To be fair, you did get to go and be an extra on the Flintstones.
Oh.
Boom! Age joke. But not a Richter. He's both young and handsome.
Right.
And huggable,
Indeed.
right?
And huggable. Huggable, handsome. There we go.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the story was decent. And from the off, when I read the summary of it before we even watched it, this was one of the few shows I actually wanted to watch because of the premise. Because I was like, okay, it combines two things that I really like, cooking and magic. I'm like, okay, how is this not going to be awesome? Then I watched it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see this being kind of a fun show. And I like the little bit of intrigue they tried to put into it, with the whole, oh, which of the old ladies is good, which of the old ladies is evil, and, what's going to happen when they start making more of these cakes and pies or whatever the hell else is in the recipe book. And what's up with the grandmother. I thought they put, a couple different threads in there, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And you don't see that a lot from kid shows of there's like 3-4 different things going on at the same time that's going to be going on throughout the entire series. So I thought that was kind of cool. And from my perspective, a lot of what they were trying to do was unique. But then again, I hadn't seen a lot of other stuff, like, because I know, Mole, you pointed out to me that it's been done in some other shows before, but most of them are shows I haven't watched. Like, I've seen Charmed, but I didn't see, like, I don't think I saw much of season 1, which would be when most of this stuff happened. So, yeah.
Well, fair enough.
But I like the show.
Although one of the shows I mentioned of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, you totally need to check out. That's one of the greatest shows ever.
Fair enough. But yeah, like I said, I like the show. I think they need to explain more, which is weird coming from me because I'm usually the guy that's like, explain what you need to explain, but don't over-explain it, and leaving some stuff out is okay. But with this one, it's like you're using rules that you haven't defined, and they seem to contradict. Each scene seems to contradict with the next scene. It's like, explain yourself.
You mean sort of like MMPR did?
Kind of.
Where Zordon clearly says, don't basically make shit worse unless Rita does. And clearly, before now, they've morphed to face putties, which someone like Tommy, who was a person without powers, could easily defeat anyway. So clearly they made shit worse by morphing and made the favor more in their favor, which shouldn't have happened. They didn't do it often, but they did do it a few times. And I'm like, isn't that making shit worse?
Yes.
And I believe Zordon's exact wording was, don't make shit worse.
Rangers, don't make shit worse.
Exactly.
We read you, Zordon. You're coming in kind of staticky, though. Come on, Rangers, let's make shit worse. Master, sorry.
Except at least they established the rules that they then later broke. This series hasn't even established what the rules are yet. And it's like,
I would make the case that would be better, only because they haven't contradicted themselves yet.
But what I was saying is one scene contradicts the next scene, because in one scene, in the first scene, you've got someone who has almost nothing to do with the effect able to dispel the effect, and then in the next scene, she does it again, but dispelling the effect on herself, and it's like, okay, so how does this thing work exactly? Is it this character has to be the one to dispel the effect, so if she dies and you're under the effect of this vanilla, you're fucked? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yeah, which, like I said, could be a case if it could be anyone, but because they haven't said the rule yet, they could say it next episode, and suddenly that's not a contradiction, unlike making shit worse.
Right. Well, I'm not saying it's contradicting any rule. I'm saying the scenes are contradicting each other because the rule hasn't been stated.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I rather enjoyed watching it. I was like, it's not terrible. I'd watch another episode of that because I'm interested in where the story's going to go. My guess is the book is probably better, and I'd probably be better off reading the book, but still.
My guess is you wouldn't be able to compare the two. Only because I believe, as Jim said, this is a one-shot book
True.
that they've then turned into an overarching series. Therefore, it's not going to be a full adaptation. So it's like, okay, fair enough.
True.
Yep.
Fair point. But yes, that is my opinion on Just Add Magic.
Fair enough. Yeah, it should be noted that the effect that is shown in the show. Let me see here. In the book, the effect. Let's see, where is it? First of all, it's mentioned that the cookbook was found inside an old encyclopedia in the book, and that is referred to as the law of returns, is how they explain that effect, where one person has to be affected for the other to gain the advantage. Apparently, the ancient cookbook actually gives them an eerie warning, as does the owner of the small store where they buy the ingredients, which is beware the law of returns. Only in this one, the lady at the store did not do that. So, I don't know.
Evil.
Yeah, because she's
Seems
evil.
seems like it.
It seems like they took that and gave that role to the grandmother instead of the lady at the store.
It's
Something
because
like that, yeah.
It's because at the time the book was written and started to be planned out, it was before that economic decline in basically in the money of the economy. So now they've modernized it by the fact the person selling the shit, they're just going to say anything to get the shit sold. That's what's going on there. Or it's because it's a bookshop, and in 2010 there wasn't as many Kindles.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Or it's because
Yeah,
Richter's huggable.
I don't know about that one.
That would be my law from now on. If Richter's
Oh.
huggable, anything is possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
right.
I have to say, if this is supposed to be modern times, which it looks like it is because they all have smartphones, and the kid brother is that much of a dick, how has the parents and for that matter, the kid's not gone to the parents and say, hey, buy the little snot a cheap-ass little tablet so you can just sit down and play that and not fucking bother anybody.
He
Hey.
was playing a tablet later in the show.
Was he?
He was.
Missed
Yeah.
it.
But I would
Oh, yeah,
also
he was sitting on the couch, but still.
I would also make the case, Richter,
Yes.
you are a parent, are you not?
I am.
Okay, if your wife or your daughter or something went to you and told you your son was misbehaving and had been really dickish to him and bullying him or whatever you want to call it, would your response then be, oh, I should go and reward him by buying him a gift? Or would it be, I will give him the gift of my belt?
Yeah, that one. You're like, oh, I should give him a gift. Snap.
Yes, you're going to give him a gilf.
Come here, boy.
Oh, you chose the wrong day for this. I'm wearing my replica heavyweight title belt. Oh, whack. Breaks his leg in one hit.
But no, I'm just saying, like, because in the show, it seems like they established that him being bad isn't like a one-off thing. It's like, it seems like he's been doing this for a while. It's been a compounding thing, and I'm like, if he's consistently this bad, I don't know if this is proper parenting. Maybe Richter can verify or deny this, but I would think by that point in time, parents probably would have had enough and said, you know what, here, sit your ass down. You get this, don't bother anyone. And just hand him like a fucking tablet or something.
I'm going to say that they're terrible parents because he ate somebody else's cake with his bare fucking hands.
Yes, that's true too.
Like, I loves me some cake. I don't eat it like that. That's ridiculous. Like that's too far. Like, okay, my grandpa from my mom's side, in his family, someone reached across. It wasn't my grandpa, like one of the members of his like immediate family. Someone reached across someone else's plate and got a fork like stabbed in their arm. That's the kind of family you don't eat that. Like that's, in my lineage, and I won't grab somebody's cake like like this is ridiculous. Like what it is, no fetching up.
To be fair, I'm going to make the case, let's do some research on this, just to see if this would work in the real life. Richter, I want you to go to Marcus's, kick open his door, walk in, grab his food with your bare hands, go right in front of him, and then go, see ya, and leave, and let's see if he still talks to you.
I'll
There
drop
you
off
go.
some chocolate too.
Yeah.
My mom told me to drop these off. See you
Oh.
later.
What's that, Marcus? You're eating some pizza? Achoo!
Mhm.
At some point, Marcus is just going to hit him.
Pretty much.
And
He'll be
with
like, just wait right there. He'll go get his wooden sword. It's like, whack right across the head.
Let's not forget that little bastard threw a plate of brownies on the kitchen floor, ruined a perfectly good rug too.
And a perfectly good batch of brownies. You don't do that to chocolate.
I know, it was all uncooked and stuff. It made no sense. And he's like hovering over it, and I'm like, at least wait for it to be cooked. I mean, like, yeah, like cookie dough and stuff, that's good, but you don't just hover over the pan, you know? You're like, oh, can I have a bite? And they're like, no. You're like, okay, I'll wait till they're done. Like,
Maybe they really were bad parents because maybe they hadn't fed him. Look how hungry he was. He was like, "Ugh." He's been starved. Someone needs to call social services.
that's true.
Yeah, well, you know, Venus, are you surprised the kid is starved as it was well noted when they went to eat dinner? None of them had dinner because their father burned the fucking roast.
Yep.
Hey, it's not the father's job to cook.
Touche.
That's Mama's job. And I'm kidding before people start writing in here saying I'm sexist or something like that, like people sometimes do.
What's that? It sounds like something just hit Richter in the back of the head.
Because I will admit we did actually have something like that in the news here recently, which was kind of funny.
Oh.
Some mothers even came out in defense of it, saying, come on, it's just a joke. A clothing company released a clothing line that gave, you know, like on the label that where you got the set of instructions to how to wash the clothes?
Yeah.
The bottom line says, or give it to your mother, it's her job anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Overwhelmingly, people were like, that's sexist. To which a load of actual mothers even came out and said, come on, it's just in fun, it's a joke. The person who's reading that is going to be the mother or the father. It's not like the child's going to look at it like they were saying, well, this is bad for the children because they're going to be brought up wrong. What child grabs his clothes and goes, now, let's see, what was the proper way I was supposed to wash this?
This is true.
No, not to. In fact, a lot of kids, like myself when I was a kid, and I still sometimes do it, if I had the label where you told you how to wash it and it was annoying me on the back of the neck, I'd just rip it the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that's wise, but I'd still do it.
Right.
Do it and they'd be like, no, how was I supposed to wash this? What have I done? As I fall to my knees like Planet of the Apes ending style. It was my t-shirt and I blew it up.
And hence why clothing manufacturers designed the
Tagless
the
stuff.
tagless variants of shirts.
They did. I might just be old school of ripping the tags off.
Nope, I did that too.
I
I can't stand fucking tags.
That
That's why
doesn't
my
help.
wife
You're
was
older than
tagless.
him.
He's not older than me. He's just from a parallel universe.
Ah, okay.
Same parallel universe as Richter.
He's from the parallel universe in which everyone has Jack disease. No. I'm not bringing that back. I just found it... No. I just found it funny that the label said, or give it to your mother, it's her job anyway. And people were like, wait, the kids, no. Don't... Like on The Simpsons, why do you think of the children? But no. The point that I was making with this was just... Obviously, I wasn't being sexist with my joke. It was just... It was a joke.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Which means get the fuck over it, women, and get back in the kitchen. No, I completely undid my apology. Again, just joking.
Yeah,
Mainly
but
'cause
I
I know
would-
Richter likes to stay at home. And I have utmost respect for it.
Yeah, and I would point out Richter would not get hit in the back of the head for that because wife blade actually is the cook in the family.
That's true.
Fair enough.
I've had her cooking. She is a good cook.
Okay then.
Very true.
I believe Richter does a lot of cooking too. I once heard him say he bought takeaway. That's man cooking. That and barbecue, that's man cooking.
I can make
Yeah.
hamburgers, hot dogs, and macaroni and cheese, and that's all I need to make.
There you go.
That is all you need to make. How dare someone say otherwise?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But no, the show, like I said, the show itself, I personally didn't like it. However, I could understand some people might. It's like Netflix has a show recently that's just for kids. I do plan to review in the future with Pew called Richie Rich,
Yeah.
which I don't hate it. I will be honest, I don't hate that show. I don't know why. I just really like that show. I can't stop watching it. But I know some people don't like it. To the point I was making is I understand with this show, I may not like it. However, it's not marketed towards me.
Right.
And B, other people may enjoy this show, so I'm not going to flat out say at the end when we do the opinions and stuff to avoid this show. People may actually like this. It's a tough cookie.
Huh.
I will say I think one of the biggest hurdles for this show, and one of the biggest drawbacks for this show, is that one of the primary components and focuses of this show is food, is cooking, and I don't think that that market is a very wide or hugely popular market for a kid show. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see this being as marketable towards kids as, say, like, I don't know, Avengers the cartoon.
See, I would make the case this is marketable, and I don't mean any sexism by this. People can obviously change roles before people say that, but growing up, it was always boys played with superhero action figures and cars. Girls had easy bake ovens and like the fake cooking, like fake oven things you could play with as well that weren't actual ovens, like the
Right.
kitchen sets and stuff, which are still widely available. Which means I could largely see, ironically, they've taken something which. How have they not done this more? I mean, I've seen cooking shows that came out in the UK, and when they did cooking shows over here, and I watched a cooking show with my niece, and it was an actual cooking show, they loved it. A load of girls do love cooking, and to be fair, some boys do too. And it's like, that's a great market that hasn't actually been exploited enough, so I think that's going to benefit it.
I think it could go either way because, I mean, there's no doubt there is a market for it, and there's a pretty big market for it. But I have to wonder if the market is big enough to sustain a show like this, if that makes sense. You know, specifically targeted at kids and whatnot. I don't know if the market is there for that, despite how large the market actually is. But I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Which in itself is fair enough. But I would make the case of, okay, maybe the cooking isn't enough to withstand it. They have magic. It's like I would make the case high school kids don't like going to school, but Harry Potter was managed to make it, unfortunately, which is due to not the school, it's due to the magic. Magic.
True. I guess we shall see.
And you couldn't see that because I was off camera, but when I said magic, I totally pulled Victor out of a hat.
Oh, I thought you did like jazz hands kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I'll admit I did actually do jazz hands.
I was sitting here thinking,
it
did the Simon, didn't he?
I did do the jazz hands. It's impossible for me to actually pull Victor out of a hat. Though, I will say from purchasing various hats, it's not for a lack of trying. One of these days, Victor will be sat there typing away for a review for stayatHomeDadGamer.com, and right as he gets to the sentence, like, okay, so in Monster Hunter 4, I managed to kill the monster, and just goes to type its name, he'll go off his seat and come on and be like, wait a minute, where the fuck am I? Mole. Did you pull me out of a hat? Yes.
Part of me wants to think that you pull out a rabbit and you're like, oh, I knew it wasn't Richter because it's a hare. I was like, oh.
Nice.
Swing your fingers from side to side. Come on, everyone do the bisexual.
Yeah. But yes, as we pointed out, this show does need to do a better job as, ironically, turning around and doing the Disney New Day stuff of It's magic. Explain it.
Yeah, I think this show could have benefited from some more time in the cooker, as it were. I think they it's kind of rough, and they could have smoothed out some other stuff, done some explaining, and retool some of the stuff to make it flow better. But I think what they
Nice.
have is pretty good.
Nice. I did tough cookie. You did cooker. Now we need the other two to make some sort of cooking-related pun.
Fair enough. Over
Yeah.
to Richter for the next pun.
Sticking a fork in it, it's done.
Nice.
Wow, and I thought you were the neutral party.
I was thinking like the review or like
Oh.
our video, and I was like, well,
Fair enough.
you did me next, and that was the only one I could think of in like 3 seconds. So.
Mhm.
Fair
Nice.
enough. Okay.
Nice. Well, I will say to you, Rick, when you say that, because I know I think you've seen parts of the TV show. Am I the only one that keeps remembering Friends? Stick a fork in me, I'm done. What? What do you mean? You know, like when you're cooking meat, oh, I'm a vegetarian. Then how do you know? When veg is done, well, you just sort of eat it and you know, okay, eat me, I'm done. I was like, that's just a great scene. Between Chandler and Phoebe. I loved that joke, it just worked. I miss Friends.
Aw,
Yeah.
Fair
we all
enough.
miss Friends.
Back to the host for the final pun and to take us out.
Indeed, indeed. So, do we want to give ratings overall on this? Is it a watch? Is it a pass? What do we think?
I personally say that people should make up their own opinion. I mean, if you're forking over the dough for Amazon Prime, you should totally check this out.
Let
Fair
your
enough.
kids try it. They might eat it up.
Oh god, this is going to end badly.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, well, if you want to give it a chance, you can head over to Amazon Prime. Just type in Amazon Prime Pilot on Amazon.com. You'll find the pilot on there. It's about 22 minutes. See what you think. Give us your opinion in the comments, or send it over to @TheXPound on Twitter, or send it to TheXPound on Facebook. Give it a shout out. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. Anybody have any final thoughts?
Nope, that's it. We're good.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, that is 2 down, 1 to go.
Indeed.
So, as a reminder, if you'd like to see the wrap up of the Amazon Prime Pilot season, we are going in a little bit into next month here, but feel free to set your oven timers for March 1st, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be doing a review. Which one are we doing? Mad Dogs.
Yep, we're doing Mad Dogs.
Yes. So we were doing Mad Dogs, one of the other series picked up. So feel free to join us for that.
So who will be joining us for that? Who? There we go.
There you go.
Greatest song about asking the question of whom let the dogs out ever.
Fair enough.
But what would Marcus rate it?
I don't know. I would say if you have kids in the correct age range, especially if you have kids who are interested in one or either of those things, magic or cooking, I would say, have them give it a watch. Watch it with them. They might enjoy it. You might too if you're into those kind of things, i.e. magic or cooking. But like you said, watch it for yourself. If you have Prime, why not? It's not like you're paying for it because you have Prime. Watch it yourself and form your own opinion. You might like it, you might not. You might see some of the things that Mole saw in it that he didn't like. You might see some of the positives that that I've seen in it that I enjoyed. And again, it's not perfect, so there's going to be flaws in it, but it's still enjoyable. So form your own decision.
Nice. I thought I would ask that just because I noticed we went me doing the forking over the dough pun, Richter's pun, then Jim, and I was like, oh, I feel like because we made puns, we overlooked Marcus giving it a rating. Poor Marcus.
That's fine. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
It is.
All right, folks. So yeah, as I mentioned, stay tuned for the next episode of our pilot, and more recently than that, don't forget to stay tuned this Wednesday night for your usual weekly XGR, and especially this Thursday night at midnight. It's technically midnight Friday, but you know what I mean. We will be having the first episode of our brand new show that will be hosted by Chris the Mole. Did you want to talk that up a little bit, Mole?
No, it's cool.
Okay. Yeah, effectively we'll be pitching TV shows that we made up that are about DC Comics properties, video games rather, not TV shows this time. Video games. Sorry. DC video games that we have made up that the three of us will be pitching to Chris the Mole. So tune in for that. And till next time, I'm Phoenix. Peace.